In this episode, we start the discussion on how to make a successful short film. Get ready, because it all starts now. Before we get started, I'm going to clarify the word film. I know I didn't do this in the first episode, but I just saw a commercial online about filmmaking, and I realized, whoops, this needs to be done. You know I use the word film as a synonym for the word movie, and I think that's common. But actually, some filmmakers make films, other filmmakers make movies. What I'm trying to do is to teach you how to write a movie, full-fledged story from beginning to end. This is not about some surfer that travels the world looking for the perfect wave, and all of his travel journeys and surfing footage is rolled up into the production. That's a film. No real writing and no real acting. And you don't need this channel to do those kind of productions. So back to the question of how do you make a successful film? Well, in terms of a short film, there is no formula. No, there is not. If there was, someone would have put it in a bottle by now and sold it and become a millionaire. But that's for a short film. Now, if you're making a feature film, yes, there is a formula, and you can buy books that will detail a structure to the point of, on page 25, this will happen. On page 62, you will have this in place in your story. For a short story, there's no formula like that. It really is up to you, the writer. It's more free form. Well, okay, maybe not quite that free form, but if we break down the film process, maybe we can answer the question better. I like to break down the film process into two major areas. The first is called the quality of production, and the second is called the quality of the script. So the quality of production is really your production values, and that's going to be your camera work, it's going to be your lighting, it's going to be your sound. How good are they? What do you mean, how good are they? Well, focus. Are all of your clips clear and in focus? I think this is actually one of the hardest things for filmmakers to do in terms of production values, because all of your clips have to be good. Are your actors in focus in every single clip? Because if they're not, I think this is one of the big reasons why films get rejected. Lighting. Lighting is related to focus. Are all of your scenes properly lit, or are some blown out so it looks like the sun is about 3 feet behind you? And do you have some clips that are so dark all you can see is the outline of your actor's face? No, that's not going to work. Colors. Are your colors correct? Or are your actors' faces orange? And is the sky purple? Resolution. Okay, now I hope this is not a problem for you, because you should all be filming in full high definition, full HD, and that's 1920 by 1080 pixels. Nobody shoots in standard definition anymore. And if you have a chance, you should actually be filming in 4K. But 4K is not a universal, at least not yet. Full HD is, so that's where you should be. Steadiness. Okay, steadiness is not really an official criteria. It's something that I brought up because it's kind of a hot button with me. You know, normally your camera is going to be on a tripod, so that's going to make the clip steady. But what's happened is a lot of people think, you know, I want to add in some shaky cam, you know, because that's really going to add to my film. And it does add something to certain scenes, you know, for some clips, but not every scene should be done in shaky cam. And if you apply shaky cam to the wrong scene, it gets very distracting. Sound. Is your sound good? Is it clear? Or is it blown out? Is it muffled? You know, sound is another hot button. If it's not good. So in order to make a good film, you can see that you need good production values. You know, production values are considered one of the easier parts of filmmaking. Very straightforward. So you need to hit on every single one of the criteria that we just mentioned. If you miss on just one, your film will probably be rejected by a film festival. And I'm going to tell you right now, they didn't even pay attention to your story. Your production values killed your chances. And now for the quality of script. And this is where the art form comes in. You know, production values, that's a science. Writing is not a science. Now we're going to talk more about writing as we get along into the series, but for right now, and for simplicity's sake, let's just say that your goal as a writer is to hook your viewer into your storyline as quickly as possible. The feature films 90 minutes or more, they only got 3 or 4 minutes to convince their viewers to watch their film all the way to the end. You got to do the same thing, except you only have about 30 seconds. What kind of story could you tell that would captivate your viewer in that amount of time and persuade them to watch your film all the way to the end? Well, instead of going over the finer details of writing, which is something that we will do later, I'm going to go over examples of films that did achieve that desired writing level. I want to take some time to talk about 2 films that really stood out when they were first released. Now, these films are from yesteryear. They are old, and that was one of the reasons why I chose them, because they were innovative when they were first released, and they still are. They have stood the test of time because they are both timeless. Okay, I'm going to have to read from my notes here because as I talk about these films, I really don't want to mess any of the information up. The first film up is The Red Balloon, or in its native tongue, La Ballon Rouge. And it won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay back in 1956. Now, this film is available to be watched on YouTube, and there's a good copy of it on YouTube. So I'm going to ask you to pause this channel right now, head over to YouTube, and watch this film.